Hello, hello, hello. You're tuning into another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's other topic. There is a strong chance DeAndre Hopkins ends up on the Baltimore Ravens. So, earlier on today, Pat McAfee, you know who it is, football extraordinaire kicker turned into content sports creator, probably the biggest sports creator in the world, was covering with Pac-Man Jones and AJ Hawk about the possibility of teams that want or have been inquiring about a DeAndre Hopkins, okay? And there was a portion of it that said that there was one other team that still is in the running for his services. And you know exactly what team it is. So I'm going to play the audio for you, and then we're going to get this party started. So without further ado, let's get this thing popping.
So trade him. Pac, you obviously have knowledge of the situation. What are you hearing out of it, and what did you think about the body language?
Our sources said, we had already talked about this. I think that was one of the teams that was in the lower cut, but our sources said that might can happen. It's one more of the team up there that he missed.
Mm-hmm. What team's that?
The team on his shirt.
No, Baltimore.
Oh, really? Baltimore in the game.
My sources said that might can still happen.
Well, that's because the reason why people think it couldn't happen is because they paid Odell Beckham Jr. 15 M's. Mm-hmm. They'll have to pay Lamar Jackson at least the franchise tag, which is 32 M's or something like that. Will not be able to afford another big-time wide receiver, but D-Hop tweeted, not looking for a pay raise out here. What if
So here's the thing, right? And I want to make sure this gets, right? Because I've been discussing this a lot. He doesn't want a pay raise, right? So it's all about trading and getting him and probably renegotiating his contract, adding an extra year, pushing some of that down the line. You get where I'm coming from? To make sure that he could be under the cap and you can have some cap flexibility if he joins your team. The Baltimore Ravens can do that. Look, I told everybody this. DeAndre Hopkins is a type of player that even when he looks like he's covered, he's not. All you have to do is throw the ball in his vicinity, and he comes down with it. And he does it against the best of the best, with teams game planning for him specifically all week long. So what would he do for this team? He would be a jump ball specialist, somebody that when he's running the 9 route or the go route or sluggo, that safety has to respect him and play his side of the field. That means it opens up passing lanes for Odell Beckham Jr., who is already hard to guard. It'll open up passing lanes for Bateman, who's already hard to guard. It'll open up passing lanes for Mark Andrews, who is already hard to guard. It'll open up throwing lanes for Lamar Jackson, who's already a great passer. It'll open up running lanes for Lamar Jackson, who's already one of the best runners this game's ever seen. And it'll open up running lanes for J.K. Dobbins, who is trying to establish himself as one of the premier running backs in the NFL. So, what do I feel about it? Just like I've been telling y'all I feel about it. We all feel the same way about it. We would love it. Now, would I rather Mike Evans? Yes. But I'm not going to complain if we go get D-Hop. Listen, I read this right now on a couple of minutes ago on Twitter. Let me tell you something right now. If they bring in DeAndre Hopkins, I don't care. Use all the picks on defense you want. And if anybody's going to sit there and be like, no, don't do it. Shut up. You know why? Because you and I know that this is uncharted territory for the Ravens. And sometimes you have to give them a Scooby snack so that maybe they might do it again. Because this might be one of the few times in this franchise's history that they might go gung-ho all in, push all their chips to the middle of the table. And listen, y'all don't realize, like, people, it's so funny to me, right? Because people really don't realize that this would be the biggest story in sports all off season. There would be no weeks off. people would say, how many games can they win? How many receiving yards are they going to get? How many throwing yards is Lamar going to throw for? How many touchdowns is he going to throw for? How many touchdowns is DeAndre going to catch? How many touchdowns is Odell going to catch? Is Bateman going to run back or roll back into form? Is this going to affect Mark Andrews? Can John Harbaugh handle the egos? Has EDC finally built the team that Lamar deserves around him? Can this be the year that the Ravens break through for the Super Bowl? Can this be an undefeated team? Can this challenge the legendary teams? Like, bro, it's just narrative after narrative. This is media. Bro, y'all got to understand something. And I really do mean this. The media does not care about news. What they care about is attention. That's what they care about. You understand where I'm coming from? There are certain storylines that it just changes sports for that moment in time. And I'll give you a perfect example. If anybody remembers when LeBron James went to the Miami Heat with the decision and joined up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and formed the Heatles, right? Everything in sports news stopped. Everything, every week, every day was about LeBron and the Heat, D. Wade and the Heat, Chris Bosh and the Heat. Even during the Super Bowl, they were talking about it. And, bro, it's just times like that. When Tom Brady's first time he went down to the Bucs, it was a narrative all season long in multiple. It crossed over in other sports. Tiger coming back from the injury and winning a couple of years back. It transcended sports. Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. It transcended sports. Certain narratives gives the media ammo. See, usually the media has to form their own ammo. Go into their workshop, churn out words, put it in a shell casing, aim it at whoever they deem the villain, and shoot it until it's empty. Not with this. When it comes to stories like this, they're given bazookas. And they're not even aiming at a particular target. They're just shooting it at random places and watching it go absolutely nuclear. That's what this is. And look, DeAndre is such a wish on a star, but I get it. It's like, why would I try to stop people from dreaming? Because if it happens, listen, the content that's going to come out from this channel is going to be amazing. And I know I know Lunch Break, I know Sit the Tally, all of the Road podcast, all these content creators are going to be covering it. ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Ocho, ESPN Nueve, all of them. Fox, it will be the number one storyline throughout the summer. There's like a 2-month span where there's no sports. There's no baseball, there's no basketball, there's no football, there's no soccer, there's no nothing. There's no golf. Well, sometimes there's golf, but there's no nothing. Nothing. That storyline. Usually, remember the storyline that used to dominate was who's better, LeBron or Jordan? Jordan or LeBron, which we already know what that is. It's Jordan, of course, but shout outs to LeBron. But, I mean, that was the narrative for 2-3 years. That's all you heard. This is one of those things because they would have the opportunity of not just winning a Super Bowl. You understand? Let me show you how crazy this is, and I'll close on this. It would be such a big narrative that if they only won, and you notice how I use the word only, if they only won 11 games and won the title, it would be looked down and criticized by the media. Yeah, it would. They would say, "Oh, they won, but man, it wasn't an impressive season by them," because they wouldn't set the bar here for them. The bar would be set up here. They would be looking at that team saying, you can't lose more than 2, maybe 3 games for the entire season. And I would lean more to 2. Straight up. If you don't believe me, just if we get DeAndre, watch. Come back to this episode. You'll see what I'm saying. Because you have to understand, like, DeAndre is a superstar. Lamar Jackson is one of the faces of the NFL. And then you give him OBJ, who was the most popular football player for like a span of like 6-7 years. He was known on every social media platform throughout the world. Even if you didn't watch football, you knew who Odell Beckham Jr. was. All of that on the Ravens. My God. It would be pandemonium. I just thank God that the Ravens aren't located in a city like New York. Because I'll tell you something right now. If something like that would happen in New York, billboards, commercials, sports channels, kids channels, they might even make a cartoon about it. Forget 30 for 30s. You would have cartoons made if this was in New York. So, I would love him, like I said before at the beginning, but we're going to have to wait and see. I'm just happy that the Ravens aren't out of the running. I hope they do nab him. If they nab him, I don't care what they do in the draft. Go ahead, take whoever you want. Take 2 corners. I don't care. I really don't care, because they would have satiated what I've wanted for a long time. And I know some people are like, well, I also want a wide receiver in the draft. Odell, Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins with a Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely is an amazing receiving core from top to bottom. That's no weaknesses, sir and ma'am. And I would be absolutely speechless if it happened. And that's another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank y'all for watching. You can be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. I love the comments. Just be respectful to people's differing opinions outside of your own, and we got no problems. Also, at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice on every video that we do is a QR code. The QR code is for if you want to make a donation to this channel. It's to a Cash App. You can also find a Cash App in every video that we do in the description, and it is titled The Wunderkind Show. Also available in the description of every video now is the Patreon for The Wunderkind Show. It's up. What does it give you? It gives you Discord privileges. It gives you questions from subscribers, and it gives you giveaways. So go out there, go purchase that Patreon, and coming up very soon, we'll have merchandise specifically for this channel. There's going to be crazy shirts. There's going to be mugs. Just wait. I think you guys are going to love it. Working on it as is, and we're going to get that popping also, okay? So once again, this is The Wunderkind Show. This is your host, Nitro, signing off. And as always, you guys knows my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Yerp!